One of the greatest benefits about traveling to new and exotic places is the ability to explore. I'm sure all of us will agree with that. However, for all of us, whether we are on a trek, a hike, or just wandering around a city, there's often a time when we hit a spot where we end up being lost. And come on, no one wants to be lost in an unknown place. Perhaps more than anything else, in such situations, maps have always come to our rescue. We have depended on them to give us an overview of cities, help us navigate neighborhoods around new cities, move between towns, move around towns, and figure out the best modes of transport. With the advent of technology, the way we use maps has also changed. We have got new apps today, we have got new phones today, we have got GPS capability on our phones, and that's one of the best things for a traveler. So you guessed it right, we are going to talk about maps. Today we are going to talk about maps and aim never to be lost again. Exploring is fun, but getting lost isn't. Well, most of the times. Sometimes you find some of the most amazing places when you're lost in a city, and I have experienced that a number of times. Let's talk about some of the best apps that I think you should have on your phone before you go travel again. There are many apps out there that you can download when it comes to maps and everything that comes along with it. But in my opinion, you need only two. Okay, maybe three. But let's dive in. Number 1, Google Maps. I think all of us will agree that this is a clear no-brainer. If there's any app out there that you shouldn't travel without, it is Google Maps. Because it just offers a bit of everything, right? All of us have it on our phone, and this is going to be our best companion when we go traveling. We often use Google Maps to get from point A to point B in our home city, which is quite straightforward. But there are so many things about Google Maps that many of us don't know about. So let's dive in a little deeper. The first thing, public transportation options. One of the best features for international travelers is that in addition to road directions, Google Maps provides multiple transit routes and public transportation options. So no matter whether you are traveling by bus, car, bike, or on your own 2 feet, Google can always guide you. I have often used this feature on Google Maps when I'm traveling around public transport friendly cities like London, Melbourne, and Copenhagen. Another thing that Google Maps provides us with is the option to add multiple stops to our itinerary. You can in fact plan an entire route with stops on the app. If you are driving, it lets you find great restaurants to add as a stop on the way. If you are exploring a city on foot, you can add points of interest to the plan and have proper itinerary chalked out even before you have left the house. And one of the best things about the multiple stops enhancement that Google Maps has, you can not only plan your day's itinerary, but you can also plan your holiday itinerary, creating a multi-stop plan to get you through your entire holiday. And when I'm planning an itinerary, I often use Google Maps for this. Another sweet feature of Google Maps that I really like is the option to explore nearby. You can search for nearby restaurants, shops, travel attractions, and a whole lot more. I often use this feature to get the feel of a city the moment I land there. Because Google knows everything, right? So the moment you land into a city and you just click explore nearby, you're going to know which are the best attractions to see in this place, which are the best restaurants to visit. If you're in the mood for shopping, which are the places to shop at. So explore nearby comes in really handy when it comes to exploring these new places that you have just arrived into. Another feature, and one of my favorites, it's new, is the feature called Inside Maps. You'll often find yourself in large buildings or large places. If you're a sports fan like me, you'll be at a sports stadium watching the English Premier League. If you're a museum enthusiast, you'll be at the Louvre in Paris. And come on, these buildings are massive, right? And sometimes it can be hard to navigate at these places. So Google Maps has come up with Inside Maps. So select buildings that are huge can have Google Maps built into them, so you can navigate from one point in the building to the other one. So Inside Maps is something that you should definitely check out. Finally, Google Maps has one feature that I really love, and it is called offline maps. Often, Google Maps takes care of everything. But sometimes you don't have Wi-Fi, you don't have any internet, and what do you do then? You can't be lost, because at the start of the episode, we decided that we don't want to ever be lost again, right? The offline feature helps you search and navigate via your device's GPS without Wi-Fi or data coverage. So if you're going on a trek or you're going on a hike and you're not going to be in cellular friendly zones, make sure you use this offline maps feature. Okay, enough about Google Maps. Let's move on to the second one, Waze, W-A-Z-E. If you are going on an international road trip, you will want to bring Waze for the ride. I think when I was in Italy in 2019, this was one of the best apps out there because it gave me so many real-time alerts. So it not only taps into your GPS technology but also is a community of drivers and travelers. One of my favorite features about the app is that it has a super playful interface and has a heavy emphasis on driving. More specifically, avoiding traffic, speed cameras, police traps, and many other obstacles. If the data shows the app that there is unexpected traffic, an accident, or other hazards on your route, it will always suggest you alternate routes that will always save you time. So make sure you check out Waze when you are on your next road trip. Finally, number 3. If you're traveling through countries like the United States, Australia, Europe, Latin America, or a certain few parts of Asia, there's an app which is the best for public transport. It is called City Mapper. It is way above the rest, even better than Google Maps when it comes to public transport because the ethos of this app is public transport. It taps into real-time data in all of these cities around the world to provide the optimal routes via bus, subway, train, or even on foot. So this is something that you should definitely check out before you hop onto that next flight to the United States, Australia, or Europe. If you like this video, don't forget to like, comment, share, and subscribe.